As I've mentioned before in this website, my interest in the topic of these two books, Schindler's List and Hanged at Auschwitz, comes from the fact that I study German, the language, and my teacher has always taught me, and I honestly believe her, that part of learning the language is also learning the culture. And taking that a step further, learning the culture also means learning its history and its past, because in order to understand the current situation, you have to understand where that stemmed from. So, the larger idea in these two books is obviously World War II and the Holocaust, but another idea and social interest that really sparked my interest in these novels and this broader topic was the issue of discrimination. So, the Holocaust was obviously a mass discrimination against Jews and people who weren't the perfect picture of a Syrian, and that's that is actually something that people cannot control. And I know this for a fact because I am personally not the perfect picture of an American because of something I can't control, my race and culture background, and I'm discriminated against because of this. And I speak Spanish fluently. When I speak it outside of my house, sometimes people give me weird looks because I have paler skin, even though Colombians come in all colors, and by just the way that I look and the culture that has been shown to me and that I've lived through, just that I'm discriminated against for something that just is me and I can't control at all. And this is something I strive to change in my lifetime, and if I don't see this happen in my lifetime, hopefully in the next generation, and I hope that my generation and me can make a bigger impact into moving forward on this issue of discrimination, particularly about race and stuff. And a part of understanding the past and of going forward in striving for this goal of not having discrimination is looking at the past. And even though Germany and the United States are two very different countries with very different political systems, languages, and they're on two different continents, two different parts of the world, two different time zones. As someone who strives to change America's future, I can learn a lot from Germany's past, and that past, the past gives us a mirror into the future. If people learn to look and analyze it carefully. So when someone looks at the past and sees the mistakes and how those mistakes were made and internalizing them, help people not to recreate those mistakes. And this is why it is illegal in Germany to deny the Holocaust, and also why many Germans, as I experienced when I went to Germany, are really afraid to show their national pride. And we could also look at the past and see what worked and in solving certain problems and apply that to creating a better future and using what worked into our problem solving now. But there are things that get in the way of this utopia, and the biggest obstacle with this, in my opinion, would be influence, luck, and power. So I think those three things go very hand in hand with each other, and because in order to have influence, you need power. In order to have power, most of the time comes from luck, of what family you were born in, what social status you were born into, and what social status and family you have now, and stuff like that. And this is something that I thought a lot about when reading Schindler's List and Hanged at Auschwitz. And in Schindler's List, Oscar Schindler literally makes a list of people's names who were in Auschwitz, and because he had this list, he saved the people who were on this list from execution. And that just goes to the idea of luck. Like, the people who are on this list were people who knew Oskar Schindler, or the people working alongside him to create this list, because he would need to know the name of the person in order to save them. And this luck goes back to power, because how would somebody know Oskar Schindler, who's a very wealthy businessman? Maybe you were also wealthy. Maybe you had connections with him or something, or worked for his company, something like that. You would have to have that power to know him. And the idea of luck, influence, and power is a constant circle, and Sim Kessel mentions that in his book Hanged at Auschwitz. He says that surviving Auschwitz is nothing to show off or to be boastful about, because the conditions were so horrible, and it was really only luck that got him through, and that luck is really random, and that's about as much internalizing into survival you can do.